Hello everybody, today I'm going to show you this Rymer single 60 centimetre batten. Now this is a recent score. I got two of these on Facebook Marketplace. I got them from a guy who lives up in the northern suburbs of Melbourne. So both of these I saw on Marketplace, and when I saw them I realised that I needed to get a Rymer batten in the 60 centimetre length. I've had Rymer battens in the 90 centimetre and the 1.2 metre, but not the 60 centimetre. And these are actually quite hard to find because they are obsolete, they're not made anymore. But they are collectible. So when I saw these, I just had to have them. So I had to go over there to collect them. But now I've got them. So I've got two of them. I've got this one up here and another one right there. So both of these are made by Rymer Lighting, I think, is what the company was pronounced as, and they are of course 60 centimetre battens. These battens will take F20 T12 tubes, F18 T8 tubes, and of course LED. Now these battens here were battens that were used pretty much around Australia, probably from the maybe the late 50s all the way up until probably the 80s or the 90s, I think. But they are quite there is a lot of characteristics of these type of battens and history of them. So I've known these battens since primary school. I used to have a lot of these in primary school, I think, when I was there. And there were also some of these at the Tormore Reserve Pavilion before it was renovated, before they were replaced with T5 battens. So this time, but last year was when I acquired and restored the double Rymer battens from Tormore. But now I've finally got some single ones in the 60 centimetre. Now you can also get double versions as well, and hopefully I can get a double version in this length as well. And I'll also try to resist saying okay a lot in this video, and I probably might even redo the videos on the 90 centimetre and the 1.2 metre battens as well. And I probably might even redo the video on the double, because it turns out I said okay quite a lot in that video. But otherwise, we'll take a look at this batten. Now this batten here has been restored. It had to be repainted. I gave it a fresh coat of paint, same with the other one. And I also replaced all the screws, the lamp holders, the wires, and everything in it. So none of the electrical gear is original. Alright, so let's have a look around. So, on this is the end of the batten, as you can see here. So that's what it looks like on the end. It also has a knockout here, so you can run a conduit into there. And when I was probably going on nearly a decade or so now, I used to use fixed cords, but I since stopped doing that, I think back in 2014, and now I just use removable cords. The lamp holders that this batten has are HPM 380s, so there's two of these. The original lamp holders were a little different. They were actually a clip-on type. These ones here are actually a screw-on type. I think HPM actually do make a clip-on type lamp holder. I think the part number is 388, I think. I think that's the part number for that. But I've not seen those for sale anywhere. I'd rather just stick with these ones because they've got a screw and they're more sturdy. They're actually more sturdy. They do the job. Now in here we have the starter receptacle, if you can see there. That is a HPM 390 starter receptacle. That is not original. The original one was actually a clip-in. This one's a screw-in. As you can see in there, you can see the two bolts that are holding it in place. On the side here we have our power port, which is just a standard computer cable. So you can simply just plug the cable in, and of course that will apply power to the batten. We have our switch, which is just a Clipsal 2000 series architrave switch, and that's the switch that I put on it. Now because this batten here is short, there's not a lot of room in here, so I did have to put this port and the switch quite close to each other so that the wires to the port are not in the way of the starter receptacle. So there's not a lot of room inside this batten because it is only 60 centimetres. And this does have a ballast. So the other one does not have a ballast, this one here does. On this end we have the other lamp holder. And of course the plate is held on by two M6 sized stainless steel marine grade screws. Originally they were Imperial, I think they were 3/16, I think, originally. Now I went with stainless steel. This is marine grade because this will not corrode and it will not rust. So that's why I use these from now on. I used to use them only on weatherproof battens, but I use them on all battens now. I have also retrofitted these to all my other lights, including the element battens, as you can see there. Now the ends on these battens do swivel. So because usually when you buy them, the lamp holder parts are usually folded in, but I'm not a big fan of that. So what I did was I put some pop rivets in there to hold these so they don't swivel. It's what I did with all the other previous Rymer battens that I restored as well. So these lamp holders are now fixed. They do not fold in or fold out. They're just now fixed ends. And of course here we have the other end of the batten. We have our knockout right there. These lamp holders do also have a thread in them, so because there are some battens that have end caps with diffusers that have a thread in there. This does not have it. Now I do believe there was a version of this with a diffuser as well, and there was also some of these where I saw where the lamp holders had little caps around them. This does not have them, but in primary school some of the lamp holders had these little like caps around them, these little arch shades. I don't know what those were for. Maybe they were just to help make it. Maybe they were just supposed to make it look nice or whatever. But I'm not a fan of them. Even if this had them. Excuse me. Even if this had them, I would have just taken them off. So now we'll look at the bottom. So here's the bottom of the batten. These two bolts you see here are for the starter receptacle. This screw here is our earthing screw. This is an M5 sized marine grade screw. These ones are M4. These two screws are for the terminal block. These are an M3 size. This screw is for the ballast. You can see the ballast is just sitting in right there. And there is a bit of a chunk been taken out of here because obviously this was used somewhere else and they took a big chunk out of it. But that doesn't really matter because since when the batten's sitting down, I'm yawning a bit, because when the batten is laying down, you won't see that. Alright, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take this plate off and show you what's inside. So I've just got my screwdriver here, and I'm just going to, what I might do is I might put my mobile down, and I'll undo the screws. Now sometimes you can just undo the screws a bit and the plate will slide off, or it should just slide straight off. Alright, so I've got the screws loose. Now I should be able to just slide this plate right off without it. Sometimes you can take the screw out all the way. And I think I might actually do that because it's being a bit tight, because an M6 is quite a large thread, and there is not a lot of room to play with on that plate. Alright, so now we got the batten open, so here's what's inside. Now originally when I got this, I think the ballast was on this side right here, and it was one of those old black ballasts, I think, because those were quite common back in the day. The Daylight Adelaide had that type of ballast as well. Don't know why I'm yawning, but it used to be right here, but I decided to move it here. So that way I've got room to put the port and the switch on. Because as you can see, there's not a lot of room in here. It's quite small, quite a tight fit, because it is only 60 centimetres. This end of the batten has the neutral. As you can see, the blue wire here, that's our neutral wire. Here we have the starter receptacle. As you can see, it's held on by two bolts, M4. And I did have to pack it out because the batten chassis is a bit too deep. Because if I didn't, the starter would it'll be hard to get the starter out. So I had to put a packing underneath that to lift it up. Sorry, please excuse all that yawning. So I just used a packer to lift that up so it would fit. So it's just basically a couple more nuts that I used. So here we have our power port. As you can see, the wires that come in there. We got our neutral, our live, and of course our earth. Here we have the switch where the live connects to it, as you can see there. So the live connects to that and it goes into the to the ballast. The ballast is not original. This is just an APCO one that I had laying around. It's suitable for an F40 or an F20, F20 T12 or F18 T8 fluorescent. Here we have our terminal block. This is not original, but this is the type of terminal block I'd use in this type of batten. And of course here we have our earthing stud right here. So there's where our earth is connected to the chassis of the batten. That's designed to trip your RCD or whatever, if in case the insulation on either the live or neutral got damaged and it made contact with the chassis. It's designed to trip the RCD in your house. So here we have our ballast, which is held on with this M5 screw, and this end it's held on by these two little claws, you could say. And on this end of the batten we have the other lamp holder, and of course where our live goes in. And in there you can see the little parts there which will allow those to swivel. As you can see there, the two pop rivets are what are holding them in place, and as you can see, they do not swivel anymore. So give you another quick look at this before I put it back together. So there's the inside of the batten right there. You see the ballast, the terminal block, the switch, the port, and of course the starter receptacle. So that's all there is inside this little batten. So now I'm going to put it back together and we'll fire it up. I'm going to put the plate back on now. Just trying to get it up so so the plate is in the middle. We don't want it too far left or too far right. We want it in the middle, so that way it will look uniform, just to make the batten look more uniform. And then of course now we just tighten down our screws, and that will keep the plate in place. Now when I changed the screw threads to metric, I did have to drill them out and re-tap the threads. Alright, so now the batten is all back together. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to quickly plug it in. Alright, so now the batten's all back together and I've now plugged it in. So I better make sure the power point is switched on. Alright, so now we're going to start. We're going to put in our tubes and fire it up and see if we can get some blinky happiness out of the fluorescent tubes. So first I'm going to put in my fluorescent starter, which is just this Phillips S2 starter. So as you can see there. So let's just pop it into the receptacle, like so. So as you can see, so that's what it looks like right there. So we'll start off with the T12 tube. This is an F20 T12 tube, which is made by Phillips, and it's made in Poland. All right, so now we got our T12 tube in. That's what these probably would have looked like back in the day when they were quite common. They would have been like this with a T12 tube. So let's fire it up. Wow, we got a bit of blinkage out of that. Sometimes the T12 tubes don't want to blink, but we actually got it to blink. Let's try that again. Beautiful. We're getting some blinkage out of this T12 tube. Sometimes they don't want to blink. They just want to turn on like if it was electronic. Awesome. So we're actually getting a bit of blink happiness out of this F20 T12 tube. And it does have a little bit of end blackening because it is an old tube. I don't really use it that much. The only time I really have this out is just for these videos, because these are pretty much obsolete. They're very hard to find, so it's good to keep them as a collector's item. Beautiful. Beautiful. We're getting a bit of blinkage out of this T12, because usually they don't want to blink. They just want to turn on as if it was an electronic ballast. Beautiful. For those of you who like the old fluorescent lamps that blink, this will probably be something you'll enjoy. Awesome. Let's do that again. Beautiful. So F20 T12, 60 centimeter. All right, so let's take that out, and now we'll put in the T8 tube. So this is a Phillips Alto. You can identify the Alto tubes because they have green end caps. So let's see if this will blink. Awesome, we got some blinkage out of that. So that's an F18 T8 fluorescent, and that's what some of these had in it when I was in primary school, because T12 were pretty much starting to be phased out back in the day. And we are actually getting some blinkage out of this tube as well. Sometimes they turn on as if it was electronic. Not much blinkage that time. So this is a Phillips Alto T8 tube, and it's blinking quite nicely. So we're getting some blinkage out of this as well. Awesome. Beautiful. So that is a T8 tube, and that's probably what you would have seen in these probably from the, or maybe the 90s all the way up until the 2010s. Because in the late 2010s was when LED tubes started to take over. So there you go. So that's neutral white as well, but then that T12 is neutral white. Awesome. Getting a bit of preheat fluorescent action out of this beautiful T8 tube. All right, so now we're going to put in the LED tube. Now, this will not blink because LED tubes don't blink. So that's the starter there. See, there's a bit of excavation on it, but that is an old starter. So now we need to put in our LED starter, which is just a HRC type fuse. We just pop that in there, give it a twist. And now I'm going to stick in my LED tube, which is just made by Cell. This one here is cool white. Now, unfortunately, I don't have any 60 centimeter Cell tubes in the tricolour. Unfortunately, I've run out of them for this video. So I'm just going to use just this one for this video. Now, this will not blink because LEDs don't blink. There we go. So that is our LED tube. And that is cool white, 6,000, which is 6,000 kelvins. The T8 and the T12 were neutral white, which is 4,000. This is 6,000. So it is more of white, as in more of a paper white colour. So that's what you have here with this Cell LED tube. And these do not blink, of course. And that's and technically now in the 2020s, battens like this that are still around, you'll often find they'll have tubes like this in them. LED tubes, because it's cheaper to just replace the tube than what it is to replace the entire batten. Because sometimes changing the old fitting does require, sometimes you need to get an electrician out. So the easier and more DIY friendly is just to change out the tube. And that tube is running just fine, and that's technically what I'll be keeping in this batten most of the time. Just an LED tube, because the fluorescent is old technology, and LED is just the thing now. It's the same these others are here. These are my other Rymer battens that I have, the 90 and the 1.2. I've got LEDs in them, and that's what I intend to keep in them. Now this one here, like I said, it's for fluorescent or LED. This other one that I have is for LED only. There is no ballast in this one. And this one here I think is a little lighter than that one, because the ballast is heavy. Okay, so that is and that's only 9 watt LED. So 9 watt LED, and it's pretty bright. I think it's brighter than the old fluorescents. And that will last, and this tube will last for years compared to the old fluorescents, which blow eventually. And if I hold it up at an angle here, I'm pretty sure, there we go, you can probably see the LEDs, each individual LED in there. I'll see if I can get you a good shot. There you go, you can probably see the LEDs clearly in there as well. Okay, so that is essentially all there is to this batten, and I'm looking forward to using it for light shows. So now I have a set of Rymer battens, and I might do a video of showing you all three lengths. Now I don't really know, but I do believe these might have come in a 1.5 meter, just like this fawn batten that I have there, which is 1.5 meter. They might have come in that length, but I'm not 100% sure. Now I don't really know if they would have come in the 30 centimeter, which is about half the length of this. Who knows, they might have. And I do believe there were also emergency versions of these available as well. So that is my Rymer single 60 centimeter batten. Hope you enjoyed, and that'll be it.